What's good, guys? It's your boy Esinet, and I'm back with another video. The day, guys, is really happening in that Islamic Sultanic Zoological Republic. That place, Fulani people have been destroying lives, trying to take what does not belong to them. But it seems the day that the citizens of that place realized what is really happening in that place, so they are trying to take their future back to their hands. After the 25th broadcast of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Hausa people, the Elzakzaky boys, Fulani actually did their job, and they are still doing it up to today. But just a little bit of Hausa people there cannot be transformed into Alamajiri. They have woken up to realize their future in their hand. Although Elzakzaky is still in the detention, his boys are waving it up, trying hard to let the world know what is happening to them, that their land is overtaken by the Janjaweed Fulanis that came from the Sahel. So on 26, after the 25th broadcast of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Elzakzaky boys hold Abuja to ransom completely. That video I will show you guys right now, just in a little bit of how the Fulani people have been holding Hausa people to hostage since 1804, which is very, very alarming. It's very disturbing. That takes us to the first charismatic Hausa leader to unite his people against Fulani overlords was a scholar by his name Abdul Salam. Another Hausa scholar by the name Damboya joined him. His movement started around 1818, shortly after the death of Usman Danfodio, who came from the Sahel and was helped by Hausa people. After that, he overwhelmed and destroyed Hausa people by the Hausa people. He confused the Hausa people. Hausa people, I really don't know. They are just like, no, really. But they are like zombies, you know what I'm saying? Anything you told them, they will react on it, and they will be doing it exactly, feeding all the point. Also, they are the one that killed, destroyed their leader, just like what the Eastern governors, all the Eastern governors, because I don't know what the meaning of South, South, and Southeast, what that mean. I don't know. So they destroyed, also people destroyed their leaders, and Fulani took them over and destroyed them actually, and led them to nothing, rather to be beggars in the street. Just what they are trying to do in our land, Biafra land. So that shortly, Usman Danfodio died. At that time, almost Hausa people lived in slave camps, and over 60% of them were vassals of the Fulani Fodo overlords. That is, have been long time they were slaves to these Fulanis after they destroyed all their leaders. But thanks to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that was sent to us, as we are the children of the Most High Chukwu Okike Abia Malo. If you come near, you will know the Most High Chukwu Okike. That's what it means. He sent his servant Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to deliver us. If not that, I'll be sounding in another different. Not only me, but almost all of us. Nobody will go home, rather, if you are ready to become a Lamajiri and also a Muslim. And not even that, if you become all that, but you are still infidel. So on that note, another large faction we are turned to Shatel and sold to Usman traders. The revolt by these clerics to take back their land started at Sokoto and spread from Sokoto to Kebbi, Zamfara. Sultan Bello was the leader and the ruler from Sokoto. He declares the leaders of the revolt as apostates. That's like, you know what I'm saying? They were both defeated in battle and assassinated. The Hausas was organizing for a second revolt when Lord Lugard showed up, hoping to use his influence to sack Fulani rulers. They enlisted the Masi into his army and formed the 1st Battalions of the West African Frontier Force, WAFF. Lugard betrayed them after the successful campaign and gave the land of the Hausa people back to the emirs on the condition that the emir agreed to be vassal of the British. That is, to serve the British. The Hausa people protested and tried to pressure him to replace them with the Hausa rulers. He refused and believed that the Fulani, being a non-Negro race, will be supposedly more intelligent people to work with in a system of indirect rule. In his journal, he wrote that the Fulani are an alien race of conqueror who had in turn been conquered. It would constitute danger to the state if they were ousted from their positions. Their intelligence enabled them to appreciate more readily than the Negro population the wide objects of the British policies. Shortly before independence, 1960, another charismatic ruler rose from the ranks to free his people from Fulani rule. He was also a scholar by the name Aminu Kano. He shared similar philosophies with Awolowo and socialism and emancipating of the masses. He urged that the Talakawas were an exploited group in the north and swore to abolish both the emirate and privileged class known then as Meso Sarautu. His rising profile posed concern for the British and for a second term. They made laws that disenfranchise the House of People. They created an electoral college and not with laws that gave the emirs the final approval of any elected member into the legislature. With this law, they silenced the voice of the Talakawas, championed by Aminu Kano, and frustrated his revolution. In the 70s, another Hausa cleric emerged and rallied Hausa people. His name was Muhammadu Mawa, nicknamed Mai Tatsin, Hausa name meaning the one who dances. He deviated from many of the Sunni teachings and declared himself an Anami Hausa ruler. The title in Hausa is reversed from prophet with divine inspiration. He swore to ride Hausa land of the Fulani elite and the nobility that exploited the local rulers for over a century. Like Aminu Kano, he drawed a mass following among the Talakawas. His movement was violent. He had weapons smuggled into Kano for a revolution that started in December 1980. Shagari government urged the military to fight the movement and killed over 5,000 people. The group was fearless and stood their ground to the last breath. Major Haliru Akilu, one of the commanders sent to restore order in Kano, observed that the fanatics never retreated. Even when they were overpowered, they were bolder than the guerrillas we read about in Malaysia or in the jungles of the East Asia. Muhammad Mawa was killed shortly after the revolt. It was said that at death his body did not decay, and his further inspired his followers. A more brutal successor came after him. His name was Ali Suleiman Musa Makaniki. He led a more violent uprising in Kaduna and the most violent of all post-colonial Hausa revolts in Yola in 1984, which left thousands of people dead and thousands more homeless. Buhari ordered a ruthless crackdown on the group in Yola that led to the death of many members. Musa Makaniki fled to Cameroon to escape death by hanging and stayed in exile for many years. The current cleric standing for the Hausa masses is Elzakzaky. Unlike the other previous leaders of the fight for freedom for Hausa people, Elzakzaky had Western education, and his movement started with intellectuals in the ranks. He finished with a first degree in economics at Abu, but was denied his certificate. In a country where the Northerners enjoyed the privilege of a quota system, he could have lived a good life by pledging allegiance to Fotajalon rulers. On the contrary, he chose to stand up for the injustice done to the Hausa people for over a century. Like the cleric before him, he deviated from all Islamic laws that bound him to alien rulers that exploited the natives to form the nobility. His struggle is not about Islamic ideals. It is about freedom for Hausa people and rejection of Fulani nobility. His rhetoric is strictly centered on it and government, the granted influence at the federal level. The emirs are alien rulers, like the British who left that independent. They need to vacate the northern kingdoms and give Hausa land back to its ancestral owners who had been seeking redress for injustice done to them by the Jihad of 1804 since the early 1800s. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. John F. Kennedy said that. So I'm about to play right now what the Hausa people are doing in Abuja right now. A lot of shooting is going on right now as I'm speaking. So let us get into this video and see what's going on in Abuja. Once more.